Boom! Hey internets, I am still here in Seattle, Washington. So shout out to Seattle. David Kung had a great question, and he's a new subscriber. So Dave, thanks for watching. And he said, "Can you talk about 5 surprises you came across while starting a t-shirt line?" And let me share 3. Just because I don't want to make the video too long, but I can definitely go in depth at a different point. But I got to be out of here in a little bit. And let me just say, I'm going to take it from the reference point of, I started a t-shirt line when I was 18. As this is post-dating, I'm turning 40 this year, so that was a million years ago, and this is way before. I don't count that as experience. So 2000 I started professionally in design, and then you guys know I've been consulting with brands for over a decade. So but since I owned a high volume screen printing shop, gosh, that was like 2 years ago now. Owned it for 3 years. I know everything about starting a t-shirt line. So let me just share a few with you. Great question. That's a great question for the channel. So one thing I want to share is when you pick a brand of blank to work with, if you're getting a launch kind of put together, make sure they have the blank in stock, or if you can, maybe purchase the blank ahead of time, right? Get your wholesale permit and buy it beforehand. So I like Next Level as an example. Toltex is pretty good for me. I like them too. I love Optima, but I think Next Level is my first choice still. But like, they get bought a lot. So if there's a big brand comes in and just clears out all their, let's just say for example, their black shirts in V-neck, and that's what I want to do a design in, you could end up getting screwed because they're going to say it's going to take 3 weeks or a month to replenish. And if you're having your screen printer buy it and print from those, that's what your screen printer is going to tell you. They don't have a magic wand. So make sure the stock is there, and if you really need it for, like, maybe you're timing it with a launch of something else, or you're doing a pop-up shop or something, make sure that the inventory is available, or buy it in advance. So that's one thing. Another thing is dealing with screen printers, because I have been a screen printer and provided that service before. Make sure you know the pricing, and screen printing shops, I say, are like mechanic shops. So sometimes they'll hide pricing, you know what I mean, or they'll just be vague. Sometimes they're just unorganized, and there's a cost that they don't tell you about up front. I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of times when you're getting the invoice and the itemized cost anyway, if they do itemize it, you can't even read that stuff anyway. Typically, if you haven't done your research and know what everything costs, there might be a processing fee that they're just kind of putting in there. So make sure you know your costs so you're not surprised. They might quote you on the shirts, but make sure that all the little fees are kind of in there, so you know what your cost unit is for each shirt when you're doing the launch. So that's another thing I want to say about launching t-shirts. Another thing I want to say is, if you can get the buy done beforehand, like have people commit to buying the shirts. Sometimes a lot of newbies will over order the shirts, so you'll make more that you think you can sell, right? It's always a pain in the ass to go back and reprint the shirt if you get that kind of demand, but trust me, if you sell out of a style, it's way better to just be able to market and say it's sold out. And you want to get closer to the buy as possible, but it's just the exchange of money, because your first several runs are almost, everything is a test. Even after you've done like $1 million in product, you're still testing to see what that demand will buy and consume, right? Because you want to turn the garment into money, and then you put the money back into the business, and you make more garments, etc., and you dress the world, or you put fashion out in the world. So expect that there will be stuff that doesn't get sold, but you want to close that number as much as possible. If you make it 0, if you sell everything out, that's the best case scenario. If not, it's just more testing. So you're gonna make sure. So this goes back. I guess this third one goes back into budgeting. Make sure your budget is there for an accurate test of a long haul, right? So you can do a couple drops of shirts or hats or garments, however you're doing the rollout of your line. Unless that's what you want to do. You want to try one shirt, see if it moves, and then you know, get rid of it however you get rid of it before you move on to the next one and see what you want to do. So the third one is kind of going, I'm cheating a little bit, it's going back into budgeting, which is so important, so that's why I'm going to put it as number 3. Kung, thanks for asking the question, hope that gave you value. Guys, if you have any questions, as you already know, drop it all down below. Follow me on Instagram when you have a chance. I'll see you guys on the next one, internets. Bye.